Defender.
The following is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southwest.
Just 10 matches remain in the USL Championship campaign, and for San Antonio FC, only 4 left here at Toyota Field, making tonight's match exceptionally important. San Antonio FC welcoming in New Mexico United here on Fox Sports Southwest. And a pleasant good evening, everyone. Welcome upstairs to the broadcast booth with Matt Barnes. I'm Dan Weiss. It's great to have you with us. San Antonio wraps up a 2-match homestand tonight, and Matt, coming off what arguably has to be a disappointing 2-2 draw last Saturday against RGV.
Yeah, definitely disappointing to have a 2-goal lead and a man advantage in the second half and blow it.
And San Antonio starting on their front foot again, getting an early goal from Jack Farmy, but then confusion strikes, Matt.
That's right. The referee confused us all with the red card to San Antonio, and then they switched it, and the red card went to RGV.
So San Antonio up a man, and then up 2 goals after that. Cheeky goal from Christian Pirano, but then a set piece from Carlos Small, and then an own goal off of Ebby Akan, and it wraps up 2-2. And for San Antonio FC, Matt, 2 costly points, because when all was said and done, SAFC had a chance to jump to 6th in the table, and that own goal ended up dropping them down to 12th.
Well, the good news is that they didn't lose, Dan. This season is a collection of points, and they did get a point out of it, and that really helps in the long term.
And you see it is so congested into the Western Conference table, making tonight's match especially important when you look at where New Mexico United is. Now, the good news, Matt, for San Antonio FC is that when they play a team a second time around, the results have been much different.
That's right, and we kind of expected this year with a young back line and a team that wasn't experienced playing together. You can see they're really coming together in the second half of the season, and the points are rolling for them.
I mean, you see the massive difference in the goal differential. San Antonio FC a +9 here over these 7 matches where they've played a club a second time around. And San Antonio FC is going to try to give New Mexico a little bit of payback as United beat them 3-0 all the way back on May 5th at Isotopes Park. But it's an especially important match here tonight, a battle in the Western Conference. And the supporters will be out, as they always are, throughout Toyota Field, and especially over in Mission City Firm Section 118 and the Crocketeers. It's Supporters Week across the USL Championship. You can expect them to be loud here at Toyota Field tonight. San Antonio FC, New Mexico United. It's coming up next.
Two American icons are joining forces for a collaboration a century in the making. Budweiser and Jim Beam introduce the Budweiser Reserve Copper Lager, a rich lager aged on Jim Beam bourbon barrel staves with hints of vanilla and caramel rye, followed by a deliciously smooth finish.
It all started at one family night in Dumfries, Virginia. Family night is for everybody. It's a time for families to do crafts together.
The kids just love going to Chick-fil-A for dinner. Being the single mom and getting everybody ready, it was tough. We would get there a little bit late, like on the tail end of it. Helen saw that I was having trouble getting them to Chick-fil-A for the family night on time and actually got it extended another hour. Noticing things like that, I never really told her how much she affected me, but she did.
Love you.
Move. Move.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
For all your car's Big O no's, there's always a Big O yes. Save $100 on sets of 4 Big O brand tires, plus get $50 by mail-in rebate with the Big O credit card. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
At the heart of a team, there must be passion, that burning desire to rise to the top, to make the most complicated tasks seem simple and executed seamlessly, with laser focus, knowing precisely what your every move requires. Because in the end, there is only one goal in mind: the outcome. That's how great teams operate, and it's all based on trust. That's why these two teams came together.
San Antonio FC Soccer on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Toyota. Go to buyatoyota.com or visit your local Toyota dealer today. And we welcome you back to Toyota Field. San Antonio FC and New Mexico United taking the pitch tonight. Here's a look at the starting 11s for both sides. Kevon Frater up top is third in the Golden Boot race. 14 goals, 4 behind Phoenix's Solomon Asante. And for San Antonio FC, Pekka is back in the midfield tonight. Remember, he missed last Saturday night's game after taking warm-ups. Good to see him back healthy and back in the starting 11 for San Antonio FC. San Antonio FC tonight wearing their silver and blacks, their third jerseys, against New Mexico United, wearing their away white kits trimmed in yellow and black. There's Christian Perano, who's been on quite the run. 2 weeks ago, the USL Championship Player of the Week. 5 goals on the season. He is the only attacking player that has appeared now in all 25 matches this season. Referee is John Freeman, working with Diego Blah. Francisco Bermudez, and the fourth official is Geraldo Flores. And we are underway, along with Matt Barnes, our entire crew. I'm Dan Weiss. Thanks for joining us tonight from Toyota Field. Just 4 home matches left for San Antonio FC, who comes in tonight with a record of 6 wins against 5 draws and 2 defeats, coming off the 2-2 draw last Saturday night against RGV. New Mexico United coming off a 2-2 draw at home against Galaxy 2. These clubs separated by 5 standings places, but only 3 points. So obviously a lot at stake here tonight, Matt, for both of these clubs.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things that these 2 clubs have the exact same record over the last 5 games as well. So it's going to be interesting. It's a big match for both of these teams.
An early hard challenge as it's David Estrada who got clipped up in the midfield, and Josh Yarrow getting a talking to early from John Freeman. David Estrada is the elder statesman on this New Mexico United squad in his 10th pro season, 31 years of age. He was a former 11th overall draft choice by the Seattle Sounders back in 2010. He's got 50 games of Major League Soccer experience. Mexico United, an expansion side in the first year, and they've had quite an impressive first season when you think about all the different things. They advanced to the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup, where they lose to Minnesota United. That was after defeating Colorado Rapids in the 4th round, and they have been amongst the leaders in attendance this year in the USL Championship. A record over 15,000 last Saturday night at Isotopes Park. As you look at their first-year head coach, Troy Lesane, who was an assistant the last couple of seasons with Charlotte Independence.
Dan, there's definitely a buzz about this club, and it's exciting for all of us to see an expansion club doing so well so early in their franchise.
Somos Unidos has been their motto this season, and they really have become part of the fabric not only of the Albuquerque community, but the entire state of New Mexico, which doesn't have so many professional sports franchises. Here's Pekka, once again wearing the armband as the captain tonight, will draw the foul. And San Antonio FC with a free kick. That's Josh Suggs former captain for Colorado Springs a year ago. They've got as you would expect, a more veteran team as a first-year side, because when you're a first-year side like San Antonio was back in 2016, you're trying to set the table for success early and to build a culture that you can progress off of after year one.
Yeah, they put a nice roster together. They have a good blend of experience and youth on the side.
They got off to a fantastic start. Points in 13 of their first 14 matches. 6-1-7. They were outscoring the opposition 31-19 over the first 3 months of the year. But they've fallen on difficult times. Just 2 wins in their last 10 matches. 5 losses, 3 draws. And they've been outscored 20-14 going back to June the 8th. They've slipped from where they were in the upper echelon, holding on to a top 4 spot in the Western Conference table. And now, as you saw, down to 7th. And San Antonio is going to capitalize on a turnover. Here's Walter Restrepo. Works the ball into the box, takes a deflection off the driving Brian Gomez, and it'll actually go off a defender for New Mexico United. It'll be the first corner of the match awarded to San Antonio FC.
Again, there's a good pace to the game here. New Mexico makes a mistake in the back, and San Antonio makes them pay for it. Got a corner kick first of the game, and see what they can do with it.
Jack Barmby over the ball, a footed in swinger here as San Antonio has scored 9 times in the first quarter hour this season, trying to get another. Barmby's delivery is headed out at the top of the 6-yard box, and San Antonio back on the ball here with Restrepo by the touchline. Restrepo making his 3rd straight start, only his 7th start of the season, but he's been very good since coming into the starting 11. Assists in each of his last 2 matches at Reno. And then last Saturday night here as Estrada is offside. And San Antonio FC will take over possession.
Here on the replay, you can see Estrada just get just ahead of the back line there. It's a good call by the referee.
New Mexico United, besides David Estrada, has some world-class talent. Between Kevon Frater, who we talked about with his 14 goals, Devin Sandoval, a former Major League Soccer player, and Santia Moar as well. Maybe their best all-around player this season. And there's Frater getting inside the area here. 14 goals on the season, leads the club, and as mentioned, he's 3rd in the Golden Boot race this year. Frater, as he works it off here for Santia Moar, who's dispossessed of the ball, and play on, says John Freeman, as Moar stays down inside the box. San Antonio taking over here. Now San Antonio, looks like they were trying to do the sportsmanlike thing and allow Moar to get back up to his feet. And will actually concede possession, and we'll have, looks like it'll be a throw here for New Mexico.
Here's the replay there. I think he lucked out with the tackle. He did get a little piece of the ball, but it did look a bit reckless, but I don't think a referee's going to give that penalty so early.
Moar has a career-high 10 goals this year in 22 starts to go along with 4 assists. He leads their club 53 shots, former 4th overall pick by Philadelphia back in 2017. And then he does the sportsmanlike thing and throws it back to San Antonio after San Antonio just played it out of bounds to allow Moar to get back to his feet. Early sportsmanship here in the first 6 minutes, Matt. Matt Cardone gets a hard challenge upfield. We're talking about sportsmanship so much here. Devin Sandoval going the other direction here. Steps on Cardone's left foot there.
Yeah, he sure does. He gets into Cardone a little bit. Referee had a stern word with him. No yellow cards yet.
San Antonio concedes possession. Sandoval, he can give it a go from there. He tries. That's blocked by Josh Yarrow. Sandoval, 4 goals on the season in 21 appearances. He's a former Mac Hermann finalist playing at the University of New Mexico. They've got 3 University of New Mexico grads on their roster. They have 4 New Mexico natives on their roster this season, including that man with the ball, Justin Schmidt, former Republic defender, and then Tete concedes possession to Frank Lopez, but Lopez is unable to save it before it goes over the touchline, and early opportunity there for San Antonio FC. What about the do for Frank Lopez tonight? He's dyed the hair, I guess purple, a little light blue. Maybe shake it up a little bit upstairs.
Well, look, the referees have been on him the last 2 games. I think he's maybe just trying to change up his his look, maybe they won't notice tonight. Dan, early on, 2 mistakes from both teams. Pekka lost the ball for San Antonio, and then you can see New Mexico made a mistake. You know, a little bit of shaky play here from both teams in the beginning.
Gomez, as it's settled by Josh Suggs. And New Mexico in possession. Juan Pablo Guzman works it out wide, and New Mexico will play a vertical ball in the direction of Kevon Frater. And Frater, as he's brought down just outside the area, but we play on. Frater was looking to turn back and get possession of the ball there after Evie Khan twisted him inside out. And now back the other direction. Restrepo trying to run this down and unsuccessful in a throw coming up here. Both clubs trying to go with deep vertical balls here early on, trying to catch the defense in an awkward position. Nice job by Juan Pablo Guzman as they'll return it to Schmidt. Schmidt will boom it upfield into the direction of Sandoval, who settles, hands it right back to Mo Hernandez. And then Hernandez plays it off Tete, and it'll be grabbed by the keeper, Cody Mizell, who has started every match this season for New Mexico United. 39 goals allowed. He's 4th in the USL with 67 saves. 3 clean sheets on the season to go with his 1.62 goals against average. And a foul in the midfield on Pekka. And the reset quickly. Suggs moving upfield here. Moore enters the area. Moore, top of the 18. Great save. Rebound. Another great save. Sandoval looking to put it in. And they'll wave it off as the offside flag was up. But 2 outstanding saves nonetheless from Matt Cardoni here early on.
Wow, that was something else from Cardoni. What a shot stopper he was right there. We should have a couple replays here of that. Yeah, great initial save. He recovers, makes a second save, and it was in pretty good position for the third. Just an unreal start from Cardoni there.
That was Estrada who was in the offside position on the rebound. It was what was being ruled. And so Cardoni comes up big here early on, keeping the game scoreless here in the 10th minute. Matt Cardoni has started all but 1 match this season for San Antonio FC. He is 5th in the league in saves with 66 and a 1.46 goals against average to go with his 6 clean sheets, which are tied for 10th among USL keepers this season. And this being our first time watching New Mexico United at Toyota Field, you're going to see, I think, 2 clubs that kind of mirror each other in the way they play. They're both very good possession teams, both at 53%. They're both in the top 5 in passing accuracy at just below 82% aside, as Jack Barmby's in an offside position here. They have, ironically, allowed the same number of shots, 107, and are just 1 off in the number of shots that they've taken, 121 for San Antonio to 120 for New Mexico. And what has cost New Mexico the last couple of weeks is what had initially bothered San Antonio in the first half of the season, their inability to execute inside the box. They had 22 shots last week, only 9 of them were on target. Sandoval will track this one down as New Mexico trying to get out on their front foot here early. Suggs getting forward, corner of the box. As they'll return Frater, trying to drop it off, taken away by San Antonio. Mo Hernandez. He was looking in Brian Gomez's direction, but instead puts it into section 127 here at Toyota Field. Hernandez making his 2nd consecutive start and his 3rd appearance after coming back from an injury that kept him out for 2 months of the season. Pekka, who we mentioned, back in the starting 11 tonight after missing last Saturday, but he too missed 9 games earlier on this season. So, like every team in the USL, San Antonio's dealt with their share of injuries and probably part of the reason why they're sitting 12th in the table right now.
Yeah, I thought Pekka was a big loss for him. He's just so steady in that defensive midfield spot. He makes good decisions. He keeps the ball. He delivers the ball all around the park. They really missed him early.
Pirano lost his footing, and New Mexico will take over. Absent from the 18 tonight for New Mexico United is Chris Wehan, former Rookie of the Year in the USL. And Wehan had the brace against San Antonio FC back on May the 5th in their 3-0 win at Isotopes Park. And according to the technical staff, they have no reason as to why Weehan is not in the 18 tonight. No injury, or at least nothing that has been disclosed to us. That's a bit of a surprise, and certainly a break that San Antonio FC will look to capitalize on. Weehan has been excellent as an attacking midfielder for them this season, with 7 goals to go along with 5 assists.
Doesn't look to be hurting New Mexico so far. I think they're off to a really good start tonight, Dan. They're moving the ball sharply. Their movement off the ball is pretty good. And on the opposite side, San Antonio's giving the ball up a little bit. I'd like to see them hold the ball a little bit better and move New Mexico around for a bit.
Moar, who's a native of Spain. Mordez played in Bethlehem first couple of seasons in the USL. Sandoval in Moar's direction up the left touchline. Moar as he attacks on Kai Green. Puts it to the top of the area, and the clearance for San Antonio. Looking in Frank Lopez's direction. A good challenge by Tete. And Justin Schmidt will come over to get it. Again, Schmidt playing in Sacramento last season with Republic. And Republic was the latest victim at the hands of Phoenix Rising last night, Matt. 2-1 as Rising wins their 15th in a row and their 14th straight on Dollar Beer Night last night.
Yeah, they are just on an absolute tear in the USL right now.
Mentioned Solomon Asante, who's probably the odds-on favorite at this point to win USL MVP with his 18 goals, which leads the league. But they have gotten it from all directions and from just about every facet of their operation this season. A well-oiled machine. Moar, the challenge there from Hernandez. San Antonio unable to get possession. Frater trying to slip it back in there for Sandoval. Frater goes down, and Ebia Khan visibly upset. Kevon Frater probably thought he went down a little bit too easy to ground there. Restrepo, club leader with 4 assists on the season for San Antonio. Mo Hernandez out wide. Jack Barmby. Barmby looking in Gomez's direction, just over him, as Mizell will come up with it. And again, the addition of Frank Lopez has certainly opened things up on the wings for Barmby and Pirano in the midfield, but has also enabled guys like Gomez to make those types of runs too. Here's a good run for Suggs getting forward up the left side. Suggs on Yarrow. That clips off of Yarrow and land back to Matt Cardoni. Through the first quarter hour at Toyota Field, 0-0 on this Saturday evening. Scattered showers around the area, but we're expected to be dry for most of tonight's match, we would think. And 88 degrees at kickoff. Can't tell you the last time we played a game at Toyota Field where the kickoff temperature was below 90 degrees.
Beautiful evening, Dan. The supporters section buzzing out there as well tonight.
And a breeze of about 10 miles an hour coming out of the south. So should be very playable and pleasant out on the pitch. Here's Christian Pirano. Works it in. Frank Lopez just beyond his foot there. And a nice little idea between Pirano and Lopez. Lopez, who is 10th of the USL with his 10 goals. 4 in 6 matches since coming over to San Antonio from LA Galaxy 2.
This is good news for San Antonio because Pirano's getting on the ball often and early, and he looks really sharp on the ball tonight.
Again, Moar attacking up that left touchline, and you can see where New Mexico likes to go, utilizing Moar on that left side. And when a guy like Suggs at the left fullback can get forward too, that gives him a lot of attacking-minded players who can move up that left flank. Because it's going to be a fun night, I think, for Kai Green.
Yeah, he's got his work cut out for him.
And this is going to be a foul on Ebia Khan as Frater went down, even though initially it looked like it might have been a handball against New Mexico.
Yeah, I initially thought it was a handball as well, Dan, but it does look like they got into Frater a bit, and ball's in a dangerous spot here.
Yeah, New Mexico United trying to capitalize on an early set-piece chance. As Suggs huddles up Frater along with Moar and Sandoval. Sandoval, 58 games of Major League Soccer experience as he was originally drafted by Real Salt Lake. He's got 11 goals in 54 USL matches, playing last season with Atlanta United 2. So 3 huddle over the ball here again. Moar, Frater, and Sandoval. And now Moar will pull out. And now it appears either the left-footed Frater or the right-footed Moar.
Well, they have Schmidt, the big central defender, in there trying to block the view in. So you'd have to think they're going to try to go right through that space, and they do.
They do. Frater's attempt, though, was blocked by the wall, and San Antonio will get the clearance upfield. Guzman, Tete. Into the box in the direction there of Schmidt. Sandoval comes up there with Cardoni, and Sandoval will be called for the foul.
I think Sandoval felt like it was a 50-50 ball here. You see the ball pops up. Both players go to challenge it. Don't really see a foul there, but maybe the referee's trying to protect Cardoni a bit.
And a deep ball in the direction of Frank Lopez as Tete goes back to play it. Rashid Tete, who played at High Point last year, was a teammate of San Antonio FC's Johnny Fenwick. And a foul here on Pekka. And Troy Lesesne, who not only coached at Charlotte Independence, but also coached at College of Charleston, Matt. So he's very familiar with that Southeast, that ACC country of collegiate soccer. And has gone into that well to build his first-year side. So probably a lot of the players that Darren Powell tried to recruit, Troy Lesesne did the same.
That's right. He's even got, you know, Daniel Bruce on the bench tonight from UNC Charlotte as well. So big contingent from that area.
Tommy Madden also from UNC Charlotte on the bench too. Another foul on San Antonio FC here, and another set-piece opportunity. And
yes.
San Antonio a little reckless early on here.
Yeah, there's no reason to make that foul. The player on the ball is facing away from the goal. You can get in there and stand him up, try to force him, you know, back into the play. And instead, you give a team like New Mexico a really dangerous opportunity.
Santiago Moar begins the night tied for 10th in goals with Frank Lopez. Delivers a good ball towards that back post. Cardoni reaches up to get a piece of it, deflects it out of bounds. And a corner will be the first of the match coming up for New Mexico, although that Moar delivery was essentially a corner coming from the left side. And a yellow.
It looks more red than yellow.
Did it look red?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a...
It looks like Salim Mohammed is being sent off here for New Mexico United. So you see Jack Barmby, he knocked Justin Schmidt over the billboard there. And Salim Mohammed must have either done something or said something. And he has been sent off here in the 21st minute tonight.
Well, we just had a silly foul, and then obviously a silly decision by Mohammed there, because a straight red, you know, he must have done something. The referee was standing right there, and I can't imagine him getting a card, a straight red for saying something. He must have done something that the camera didn't catch there.
So for the second straight week, San Antonio FC is going to play a man up. Obviously a different situation tonight. Is still in a scoreless match. Certainly changes perhaps the approach for New Mexico. We'll see how we continue on. Yeah, very hard to see. And again, what we did catch was Jack Barmby with a little bit of contact on Justin Schmidt, knocking him over the billboard sign over there underneath the byline, but nothing that we caught on Salim Mohammed that would have dignified a red. Oh, and a great find to Brian Gomez, but just a heavy touch on that delivery from Jack Barmby. So Salim Mohammed sent off in the 21st minute. And New Mexico is a man down for the final 69 minutes plus here tonight. San Antonio FC and Darren Powell, who know that basically every one of these final 10 matches is a playoff match if they can get into that top 10 in the Western Conference, which, as we showed you, is about as clear as mud at this point.
Yeah, there's only about, what, 6 points separating the team in the 4th spot and the team in the, the 13th spot. It's just really, really a traffic jam in the middle of this conference.
I mean, you've got Phoenix and really everybody else at this point. I mean, even Reno has struggled a little bit. Fresno hasn't necessarily put it together every week. And then Austin sitting in that 4th spot right now as we begin play tonight. New Mexico in the 7th spot. San Antonio FC sitting on 31 points and in 12th in the table. Pirano to Barmby, upfield. Gomez as he runs on Manny Padilla. Gomez inside the area. Gomez trying to clip it across. That's going to go off of Gomez as Padilla deflected it off him, and a goal kick here for New Mexico United.
It's good work from Padilla there to get in and defend that cross.
Manny Padilla, who played last season with Rio Grande Valley, former Houston Dynamo draft choice back in 2018. He's on that right side tonight. Josh Suggs, the left fullback. Tete and Justin Schmidt, 2 center backs for New Mexico. They are without Salim Mohammed, who was sent off just moments ago after an altercation prior to a corner. But again, nothing really caught by our cameras, and you'd expect he said something to referee John Freeman, who just did not appreciate what was said. Of course, that's what we were confused about last Saturday night, where it appeared that referee Sergei Demanchuk was sending off Frank Lopez for maybe something he said after a no foul was called on Alejandro Fuenmayor. And then eventually Fuenmayor was sent off for a foul for preventing a goal-scoring opportunity.
Yeah, hopefully we'll find out. I mean, I hope it wasn't, a straight red for just something he said. That just affects games like this so much. And we've seen red cards in, the last 3 home games in a row, Dan. And early in, an early red card last week, an early red card here. It really does, affect the game. And I'm hoping there's more to it than just him saying something.
Have you found that to be more of a trend, that referee has gone to red a little bit more quicker, perhaps, or no?
I just don't understand it because, I think at this level, there's, typically a fairly mutual respect between the players and the referees, and I think some referees are better at understanding the competitive nature of these guys, and what they say sometimes isn't, reflective of what they really mean. But, it's tough. I don't know. Every referee's different, and they have the right to control the game in their own way.
All right, let's take a look again here at the red card for Salim Mohammed, if we can see what happens. There's Mohammed.
See him coming back to the play.
I mean, there's no contact with a player.
Yeah.
Boy, that's hard to figure out at this point.
So if he did say something, a stern word and a yellow card might be appropriate there. But again, this is referee's decision.
So again, New Mexico playing with 10 men as we're midway through the opening half. San Antonio FC, New Mexico United scoreless. Barmby switching the play over to Walter Restrepo, heads it down. Christian Pirano. A good attack build up for SAFC here with Barmby and Pekka now in the middle of the park. Restrepo. Barmby. He's got a lane a little bit here now. Off of Gomez, Frank Lopez returns to Pekka. San Antonio will reset here. Works it over to Restrepo's direction. Settles on the touchline. Good find. Gomez coming across, edge of the box. Tries to clip it in, and it's blocked. And Suggs sending it upfield. Sandoval unable to track it down. Yarrow waves off Cardoni. He'll go back and play it. Yarrow begins the night, 7th in the USL, 102 clearances. Kai Green. Pekka. Pirano. Restrepo as Gomez gets to the top, or Lopez rather, to the top of the 18. Instead, it's Pirano. And it's San Antonio up 1. Christian Pirano has done it again. His 6th goal of the season. And his 4th goal in the last 3 matches. And the home side is up 1 in the 28th minute.
Dan, we said it earlier, this kid, when he gets on the ball, often and early in games and gets involved, it usually means trouble for the other team, and it sure does tonight. He makes them pay. He's really buzzing around the pitch, and just a fantastic finish inside the box with his left foot. He slots it underneath the keeper, and what a good start for the youngster. Keeps his goal scoring streak alive. Here you can see him, just a terrific cutback on his left foot, slots it underneath. Just another classy goal from this kid, the young, just turned 20-year-old.
Another assist for Walter Restrepo is his 5th. The club leader, Christian Pirano, is on a whirlwind of emotional highs over the last few weeks as the USL Championship Player of the Week 2 weeks ago. As you mentioned, celebrating his 20th birthday a week ago Friday. And now his 6th goal of the season. Here's Lopez getting forward into the box. Lopez, the fans on the strike. San Antonio FC sees Pirano go down at the top of the 18-yard box, and there was no foul that was called. And as Pirano went down, San Antonio was playing the advantage in that situation, and then now going back to the referee and arguing that a foul should have been called in that sequence.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. He clearly got fouled from behind. The referee saw it. It was right in his vision. And I thought he would call that play back and give the foul. You can see here he gets the jump. They come across his leg. That's not an accidental touch there. That's it's on purpose, and should have probably been called back and given the foul.
Meanwhile, over by the New Mexico bench, at Kai Green and Josh Suggs exchanging some words. Pirano is up and he's okay. Tell you what, no player I feel on San Antonio FC takes more punishment in a match than Christian Pirano. The way he moves and what he does on both sides of the field. But I think that's what makes him so much more of a fan favorite. As Darren Powell, pretty emotional here with John Freeman.
Yeah, I think Darren's saying the same thing. It was clearly a foul. The referee saw it. I think he, acknowledged it, and then he just didn't call it back. Nothing came out of that play. Would have liked to seen him pull it back to the spot of the foul and give San Antonio a free kick there.
Sign up to Kick It with the Pros, presented by Toyota. You'll be entered to win a chance to participate in Toyota Field Day with SAFC players and coaches. Visit sanantoniofc.com/Toyota to enter. So SAFC up 1, up a man after Christian Pirano's 6th of the season in the 28th minute. And I gather, Matt, that SAFC's probably learned their lesson from last week. Even with the lead playing up a man, pretty similar situation.
Yeah, you just can't take your foot off the pedal in this league. 2-0 is sometimes the worst score to go into a halftime with, and they found that out last week. You sometimes go into halftime with 2-goal lead and a man advantage and think you can come out and cruise in the second half, and it came back to bite them last week a little bit. So you learn from those lessons and you move on, but look, I'm sure it's going to come up again tonight. They can't change what they're doing just because New Mexico has one less player out there. New Mexico is going to have to adjust. They started in a 4-4-2, and typically a team like this will drop into a 4-4-1. And they've already made adjustment with the 2 strikers. So they initially left Sandoval up top, and it looks like I think Coach Lessane's made a switch there.
Meanwhile, Restrepo delivers one in, and that's headed just over goal. Nice job by Kai Green getting forward, or Ebia Khan rather, into the top of the 6-yard box. SAFC still does not have a goal this year from one of their defenders. And this would be a typical position where the defenders get forward, try to get under a ball. And I think you said it last week, they don't have a goal off a head.
Yeah, I don't have a header all season, so.
So as we cross into the 33rd minute, SAFC up 1 on the goal by Pirano, and for San Antonio FC. It is the 12th time they have scored the opening goal. Restrepo inside the box, cuts it back. Taken away, and the clearance, Sandoval as he returns. And we are getting word that the red card on the sideline was for offensive language. So, which is kind of what it had to be based on what we saw in the pictures. So, offensive language is the call on Salim Mohammed, and the straight red card being pulled.
Well, he must, clearly said something very offensive. So, I mean, that's good feedback to get. But again, you like to see a yellow card sometimes in those situations.
Barmby just over Cody Mizell.
Dan, this is what we're talking about. So now the New Mexico's playing down a man. It looks like the two strikers are just going to have to share duties. One of those strikers has got to drop into the midfield and help defend. And it looks like they're just kind of sharing that duty right now. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see how they make the adjustments to losing a player on the field.
Well, it doesn't take away from the talent they still have up top between Frater, Sandoval, Moar, and Estrada. And that'll be something to obviously keep a watch on as this match goes forward. Perano fouled. Showed you at the top of the broadcast tonight, San Antonio FC much better against teams the second time around. That goal differential now is +10. The second time they faced an opponent as compared to -5 the first time around. Big 15-goal swing there.
Yeah, it's huge, and that's exactly what you want to see if you're, the leadership at San Antonio. You're seeing a team that's growing and a team that's learning lessons and a team that's getting better and better as the season goes on. You just hope they have enough time to get the points they need for that playoff spot and then see what they can do with it.
Gomez, as he works with Perano. Perano makes the turn as he eludes Juan Pablo Gomez. Nice tackle, though, coming back by Juan Pablo Guzman there.
It's a great recovering tackle from Guzman there.
It's interesting to watch Gomez and Restrepo. So interchangeable there out wide on the touchlines. Gomez started out of the left side. He's now switched back to the right side. And Restrepo is more comfortable on the right side, but the versatility can play on the left. Hernandez sends Frank Torres forward, and he'll earn San Antonio FC's third corner of the match.
That's a smart play from Torres there.
Or Frank Lopez,
Lopez,
rather.
Yeah. Because you can see, as soon as he got his head around, he saw the two defenders there, so he's just smart enough to say, look, I'm going to get a corner kick out of this, and he does that. It was really good job from Lopez.
So Jack Barmby over to take San Antonio's third corner. Barmby strikes it to that back post and headed out. And the clearance upfield there by Moar. We'll get the return ball there from Sandoval. Moar out to the middle of the park. Weave his way through traffic. Hard challenge coming forward from Yarrow. And Yarrow shown yellow. 36th minute. He'll go into the books here, which is a pretty good tackle there on Moar. Yarrow's second caution of the season.
Here's the replay. Yeah, the only thing in the referee's defense is that he does get his studs up and into the boot of New Mexico. But he got to the ball. He got to the ball first. That's a tough yellow to take for him. Looked like his timing was pretty spot on.
So Yarrow's sitting on a first half yellow. And New Mexico free kick opportunity as we get later on in this first half. San Antonio FC up a goal. There's Suggs. Moar. They'll return it back to Cody Mizell. Justin Schmidt looking in Frater's direction. A Khan in front of him wins the duel. Jack Barmby. And that ball upfield might have been clipped a little bit as it lands back in New Mexico's possession. Estrada. Barmby as he works on Schmidt. Meanwhile, it's Pekka to come away with the ball, taking it away from Suggs. Pirano. And for Frank Lopez. Job coming back by Juan Pablo Guzman to gain possession, and then Mo Hernandez. Call for the foul there on Frater.
It's good pressing as a team there from San Antonio. They win the ball high, and you know, wish they could have done a little something better with it. But again, it's good team pressing from San Antonio there to win the ball. And here they're back at it again, trying to press the ball a little bit higher, as you can see.
Kind of what you would want to do when you're up a man in this situation, looking to cash in on a mistake. You have to be aware of those vertical balls, though, as Sandoval did get behind Yarrow momentarily. Now Cardone getting it back there from Yarrow is able to get it upfield. Good touch from Lopez to Pirano. Pirano's got daylight moving forward here. A nice little back touch there. Gomez, strike to the back post. San Antonio's up 2. Well done from Brian Gomez, and San Antonio FC has got a 2-goal first half lead.
Now, when you see the replay again, what you're going to see is just more terrific play from Pirano. This all comes from him carrying the ball. You can see how he takes this interior touch and drags the defenders inside, which leaves this lane outside. He plays the ball right in, right into the space, and they just plug it. It's just another fantastic run from the young kid. Just unbelievable. 5th
goal of the season for Brian Gomez. You can see the smoke emulating from Mission City Firm Section 118 and the Crocketeers. It is USL Supporters Week, and there are great supporters across all of USL Championship, not only here in San Antonio, but in New Mexico as well. There's supporters known as the Curse, which is named after the first governor of New Mexico, Lew Wallace. And this is kind of an old fable's tale, the Curse of Lew Wallace, which basically Lew Wallace came to settle in New Mexico, was not used to their heat and their heavy terrain, and basically telegraphed back home that he couldn't live in New Mexico. He wasn't used to it. And so the curse essentially being with, you think you're going to do what you're going to do when you cross the border into New Mexico? Well, think again.
Well, I think this team's breaking the curse so far this season, and they've been fantastic. And what a supporters group that is. I saw some more video of them today, and boy, they are just awesome out there supporting this squad week in, week out. I know there's a supporters group showings tonight.
Lopez just wide of goal there with that strike.
And again, we just want to say, you know, thanks to all those supporters groups out there doing a fantastic job.
Frank Lopez, 47 shots on the season, getting off his 48th and just missing to that back post.
Frank, you can see what he did well there is just creates a yard for himself and gets that shot off, and he just missed the post out wide.
That's a hard challenge from Kai Green, and that will draw mustard. As Kai Green will be assessed his 6th yellow of the season.
Yeah, he comes in hard. That's a very deserving yellow card there. Not sure Green needs to make that tackle there like that. But now he's going to have to play with a caution.
I go back, you know, I don't know whether or not San Antonio would be in this exact position, being up a man or not, but if you really, you know, wonder again about Muhammad being sent off so early in the match and how that just changed the complexion of the game in the favor of San Antonio here.
Yeah, I said it before. I mean, you know, again, I don't know what he said, Dan, but you know, a yellow card in that situation would have been adequate. You know, you shut the player up and you move on and you keep playing and don't take away from the game. But hey, despite that, San Antonio's taking advantage of the of having a man advantage, and they're playing really well right now.
Barmby, as he concedes to Juan Pablo Guzman. San Antonio up 2 goals. Pirano in the 28th minute, and Brian Gomez in the 39th minute as Gomez gets to 5 goals on the season. And SAFC up 2 here just before halftime at Toyota Field. As Moore, Frater, Sandoval looking for that back touch to Suggs. Good pressure getting forward by Moore as he strips possession. Moore top of the box there. He was looking for Estrada and well defended there. And a great one by Walter Restrepo, but he can't get on the end of that delivery upfield. And a foul by Pirano on Suggs.
You can see right after the Gomez goal, he went right back out to the left side of the pitch there, Dan. And it's so nice having these two players that can interchange like you were talking about earlier.
Pirano and Barmby have also become those two midfielders on the wings that have certainly been excellent at both ends, getting upfield and then playing back in the defensive third of the field. That has as well opened it up for, as you pointed out, Gomez and Restrepo. And now San Antonio FC defending here. Moar working it back. Guzman switching the play across. Manny Padilla getting forward on that right touch line. And Padilla will return it back to Mizell. Pressure coming there from Frank Lopez. Estrada. And he's brought down by Jack Barmby. Barmby's, by the way, sitting on 4 yellows tonight, which means that his next yellow would be a 1-game suspension for card accumulation. Schmidt. He plays that one off for Restrepo. That's going to be a corner here for New Mexico late in the first half. And United, if they can get one here before halftime, well, we've seen this story before.
I was just going to say, you want to see San Antonio really get everybody behind the ball here, clean this thing out, and get into halftime clean.
Santiago Moar, the delivery, right-footed in-swinger, plays short, and that's headed out there by Frank Lopez coming all the way back. 3 minutes of added time, and a throw coming up here for New Mexico United. Throw back into the box. Moar settles in space. Up top. Padilla. That's blocked by Yarrow, and that will result in another corner for New Mexico. Their third coming up here from the far stick.
San Antonio's going to have to keep an eye on Schmidt running in here as well. And he got free in the box last time. And you don't want to see runners moving around freely in the box. That'll come back to haunt you at some point.
So Suggs is going to take the corner. Plays a good ball to the top of the 6-yard box, and it's headed wide of goal. And there was Justin Schmidt, as you alluded to, creeping up there, trying to get on the end of that delivery from Josh Suggs.
Yeah, you can see it coming.
So San Antonio looking to take a 2-goal lead into halftime thanks to goals from Pirano and Gomez. As we're in the middle stages of stoppage time at the end of the first half. Really well played first half for San Antonio FC. And their second straight 2-0 lead here at home. Trying to cash in on 3 points. Moar playing it back in Sandoval's direction. Yarrow comes away with the ball. Working away from Devin Sandoval. A little decoy there on Sandoval, got him up in the air. Another throw coming up for Kai Green.
Tell you what, Dan, I love watching Yarrow play, man. This kid is going to be something special. He's out of the Right to Dream Academy, and in Ghana, which is they have a senior team in Denmark where I work now, Nordsjælland, and it's a fully funded academy. They're doing special things with their players and in their academy. And look, this kid's just been awesome this season. He's got pace, he's smart, he reads the game well, and really excited about his future.
Second overall pick back in 2016 by Philadelphia, so the talent's certainly there. Strada unable to slip one through for Sandoval in that sequence. San Antonio comes away with a possession. Restrepo. Look at Brian Gomez running upfield trying to get Restrepo's attention. Instead will deliver to Jack Barmby now. Eventually finds Gomez. Pirano is offside. The flag is up on him here. As we're just about at the end of the allotted 3 minutes of added time. And San Antonio FC is going to again head to the locker room up 2 goals. Again up a man at halftime. Goals by Christian Pirano and Brian Gomez. San Antonio FC exactly where they were a week ago, sitting on a 2-goal lead and up a man over New Mexico United. This week, though, looking to cash in on 3 points at home before they head out on a 2-match road trip. Halftime coming up from Toyota Field next on Fox Sports Southwest.
I want you to know that Davis Law Firm is here for you. And if you call us and you need us, we'll come to you during this game. And then we'll fight for justice and demand the cash settlement you deserve. Call me at 444-4444. That's 444-4444. Now, before we go back to the game, don't forget, there's only one number to remember, and that's 4.
Hey, how was your week? My in-laws were in town. I got a standing desk. I tried quinoa.
I took the dog to the groomer.
Make your weekends more exciting than the days before them.
We drove 3 hours to the kids' swim meet.
Right now, qualified buyers get 0% APR financing for 72 months, plus a $2,000 special edition bonus on a new 2019 Tundra Special Edition. Toyota, let's go places.
Kickapoo Lucky Eagle Casino Hotel.
It's only a short drive from home.
Over 3,300 slots, poker, and live bingo.
I come for the drinks. It's a great place to celebrate.
Come and play.
Obi charging on, curling the cross. That's outside for
Quickly to Watson. Watson gonna take a shot. Oh my!
That is sensational from the Irishman. Plays it across. And finds the
what a hit.
Attempt.
Welcome into episode 13 of Steal Some Time. We are going to start over in the East and chat a little bit about North Carolina hosting the Pittsburgh Riverhounds this week. And I think that we can easily say that nobody saw a 5-0 outcome, at least in North Carolina's favor, coming out of week 24. But let me tell you, North Carolina stuck it to the Riverhounds, shut down that unbeaten streak that they had going, and really, I mean, they dominated play, outshot Pittsburgh 13-5, 8 shots on target as well, which is fantastic. Pittsburgh, on the other hand, didn't have a single shot on target. And I think that's obviously a major difference maker. North Carolina looked good, Scott.
Yeah, I mean, the same week Austin Duluth announces his retirement, he then goes and dedicates a 5-0 win over Pittsburgh to the Oak City supporters.
So cool.
Definitely didn't play out how I thought it would.
Right.
And I think that I speak for the vast majority of fans around the championship who just kind of looked at that and said, what the heck's going on with Pittsburgh?
Elsewhere ahead in week 25. I don't know how much longer we can talk about Phoenix, but they're giving us no other choice. They're back for another dollar beer night, and this time they're hosting Sacramento. And I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to say that this story's different. As good as Phoenix's backline has been, I think this is the biggest chance all season that Phoenix is going to have a run for their money on dollar beer night, going for 15 straight wins.
Are you calling I won't make you go out.
No, I'll call that. Yeah, I think this is it.
They're gonna lose
I
or
do.
draw?
I think.
I was just gonna let you say that the win streak is snapped.
I think the win streak
She's
is
visually
snapped.
hedging right now.
Yeah, I see the bullets, the little beads of sweat just starting to she can feel the heat here. She feels the pressure. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna call it. I think the L comes.
For me, starting out in this business, it was very overwhelming and also exciting. My name is Casey Hanlon, and SWBC PEO really helped propel my business. They have automated payroll systems for me. They helped create my employee handbook, and they have over 45 experts that know how to handle just about anything employee related. I could not have one person do the job that SWBC PEO does for us. Our partnership is not just business, it's a relationship.
Today we'll explore the world of HEB, lunch and school supplies. Let's dissect the lunch kit. Look how perfectly it fits a sandwich, drink, carrot sticks with hummus, and more.
Mine is missing the carrots.
Never mind.
Now let's examine the perfectly packed backpack. Goggles, Mr. McCord. These fashion binders and notebooks aren't just essential, they're sick.
Sorry, who's sick? Sick? Who's sick?
Sick means cool. Kids know back to school and that they'll find everything on their list at HEB.
It all started at one family night in Dumfries, Virginia. Family night is for everybody. It's a time for families to do crafts together.
The kids just love going to Chick-fil-A for dinner. Being the single mom and getting everybody ready, it was tough. We would get there a little bit late, like on the tail end of it. Helen saw that I was having trouble getting them to Chick-fil-A for the family night on time and actually got it extended another hour. Noticing things like that, I never really told her how much she affected me, but she did.
Love you.
Being on a team is about being prepared, knowing exactly what part you play, and doing it. Being focused, letting years of determination and skill be at the forefront. Because in the end, there is only one goal in mind, the outcome. That's how great teams operate, and it's all based on trust. That's why these two teams came together.
Halftime from Toyota Field, San Antonio FC up 2 over New Mexico United. Here on this Saturday night on Fox Sports Southwest as we welcome you back upstairs to the broadcast booth along with Matt Barnes. I'm Dan Weiss. Great to have you with us. Well, deja vu, Matt, back in a 2-0 position for San Antonio FC and up a man once again last Saturday night. RGV came back with 2 in the second half. See what happens here tonight.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And what's happening in that locker room now is they're talking about what they've talked about all week. We're not going to make this mistake again, and that's going to be a sign of a good team and a good head coach, is not letting things like this happen again. And we'll get to see if they learn their lesson.
That's coming up. Let's take a look at what happened in the first half as we look at the highlights. Game changed early in the match. Salim Mohammed was sent off right here for a red card. You see number 16, nothing done in terms of physical contact. Offensive language is what we were told down to the sideline. Mohammed sent off, and then SAFC taking advantage. Perano, his 6th of the season right there.
This kid's been on fire. You could tell from the beginning of the match that he was into it and he was buzzing around, and he impacts immediately.
And then Perano creates for Brian Gomez. He gets his 5th as SAFC gets 2 goals there and has the 2-goal lead as we take a look at first half numbers. Possession's been pretty even, kind of what we'd figured. And SAFC only has 2 shots on target, but both have found the back of the net. So we'll see what happens in the second half. SAFC up 2 over New Mexico United. Second half coming up here on Fox Sports Southwest.
Two American icons are joining forces for a collaboration a century in the making. Budweiser and Jim Beam introduce the Budweiser Reserve Copper Lager, a rich lager aged on Jim Beam bourbon barrel staves with hints of vanilla and caramel rye, followed by a deliciously smooth finish.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
For all your car's Big O knows, there's always a Big O yes. Save $100 on sets of 4 Big O brand tires, plus get $50 by mail-in rebate with the Big O credit card. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
San Antonio FC up 2-0 at halftime over New Mexico United. Second half coming up as SAFC looking for their 9th win of the season. San Antonio FC Soccer on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by Toyota. Go to buyatoyota.com or visit your local Toyota dealer today. Start of the second half at Toyota Field. San Antonio FC up 2 thanks to goals from Christian Perano and Brian Gomez. And SAFC sitting on 31 points, 12th in the Western Conference table. Trying to pick up their 9th win of the season and their 7th here at Toyota Field. Only 3 more matches left at home after tonight. They're back at home on September the 14th after a 2-match trip to Tacoma and Phoenix coming up over the next 2 weeks. The season's starting to hit the stretch run. Only 10 matches remaining for both these sides, including tonight. Let's see how the second half unfolds. Remember, it was San Antonio up a man over RGV last Saturday night. Then RGV gets 2 goals in a 5-minute stretch in the 75th minute off a set piece from Carlos Small. And then an own goal off Ebia Khan in the 80th minute that leveled the game at 2, and that's how we finished.
You know, Dan, both of these coaches are pointing to last week, right, at halftime. San Antonio's saying, look, we're not going to let this happen again. And New Mexico's saying, hey, these guys gave up a 2-goal lead last week. We're still in this game. Let's go and let's play. So, we'll see what happens tonight.
Perano keeps that one alive at the touchline as he gets forward here, and he gets tripped up. Well done there by Perano as Juan Pablo Guzman. And John Freeman telling Juan Pablo Guzman, there's probably been about 2 or 3 occasions where he's committed a similar foul, so he's probably on deck for a yellow.
Here again, Perano's just on the rampage with that magic left foot. He's going to cut into his left, and look, there's just nothing you can do about it.
Well, as you said last Saturday night, that next goal basically is huge, because if San Antonio gets a 3rd, the game is all but over. New Mexico gets 1, and it's an entirely different match once again.
Yeah, as a head coach, you hate a 2-0 lead at halftime, because that 1 goal really, if they come back and get that 1 and get a head of steam up and you start playing with nerves, and it's exactly what happened last week. So again, we're going to get to see, the growth of this San Antonio team and see how they respond and how they manage the learning process from what happened last week and what occurred last week. You'd really like to see them, jump on this and get that 3rd goal tonight.
Well, Barmby's in a fortuitous position to do just that over the ball here in the 48th minute on a free kick. Barmby giving it a go. He connects with the wall instead. Kai Green gives it off to Mo Hernandez. Chips one into the box. Cody Mizell coming forward before backpedaling to get underneath the ball. Padilla. Mo Hernandez. Jack Barmby. Oh, Jack weaves his way right through Padilla and Estrada. As SAFC on the attack, Perano slides it to Frank Lopez. Top of the area, Lopez again. Just sending that strike wide off his right foot.
Lopez, you can see he keeps putting himself in good positions tonight, and he just keeps mishitting that ball. Kind of a typical mishit under pressure. He swings and hits the right side of the ball and just misses it, doesn't hit it cleanly. But look, he's doing all the hard work. He's getting himself in very good position. So you have to think that something good's coming his way.
Pekka under the ball, back to Frank Lopez, looking to make the turn out of the pack there. Padilla comes forward on the challenge. Lopez stays with it as it lands to Tete. Juan Pablo Guzman moving forward. Santiago Moore, Kevon Frater. Frater has been quiet to this point. Now as he makes the run on Yarrow, and everything collapsed there on Frater at the last moment. Gomez keeps it alive. Kevon Frater is not only 3rd in the league in goals, Matt, but he's also 1st in yellow cards. As Moore gets the turnover. Sandoval in the box. The touchback, and Ebia Khan able to come away with it. Perano. Great find, Walter Restrepo. As he runs on Justin Schmidt, top of the area. Restrepo now pulls it back. Perano He's looking for a lane. We'll give it to Jack Barmby. That opens up for Jack momentarily. Instead, he'll play it over to Brian Gomez. Edge of the box, Gomez flips one in. That'll go, I believe, off Tete. And it will be a corner for San Antonio.
Yeah, Gomez tries to get that ball into Lopez up top and just misses it, but it's the right call there. A corner kick for SAFC.
Restrepo played short. We'll get it back from Jack Barmby. Now we'll play one towards that back post, and skying up was Ebby Akam, but unable to end on the end of the delivery. And then going back to Frater, he's got 10 yellow cards this season, which leads the USL. That's, I guess, marginally surprising for a number 9 striker to not only be in the top 5 in goals, but also to be in the top 5 in yellows.
Yeah, imagine how many goals he would have had if he wouldn't sat out any suspensions as well. It's interesting play. The first corner kick of the second half, Dan's a short corner there, and you wonder if San Antonio's doing that on purpose. Just, hey, we're not going to give up the counterattacks tonight. Let's play that ball short. Let's maintain possession and be smart with it. I like it.
Hard challenge there on Pirano. Although it looks like free kick is going to be awarded to Mexico here in this situation. We'll see. Unless Pirano's coming back on the ball here.
Here on the replay, didn't see too much unless they say Pirano threw his hand back in. He still gets dumped though.
It's like they're gonna, I don't think call the foul. I think they're gonna award San Antonio a throw. I don't know. Referee with the discussion of both sides, and now will indeed be the foul and the free kick for SAFC.
It says a lot about Pirano though, Dan. He just keeps getting dumped like this in every game. He's getting hacked and knocked down, knocked all around, and he's got the most minutes for any, forward in San Antonio. He just, he's like the old Weeble Wobble. You knock him down, they keep coming back.
Restrepo. It's off of Barmby. Throw coming up here, and Padilla got the ball from the ball boy, but he was about 5 yards up from where he should have been. So we'll do it again. Mo Hernandez slides it back. That's going to be a throw for New Mexico. That didn't touch anybody. And I think that's, the fans are arguing. I think that's actually the right call. I don't think that ball touched anybody.
I think the referee, center refereree, got it wrong. It does go off.
Oh, it does. You're right. It goes
and,
off Frater,
the linesman saw it, told him, and he overruled him. So again, another poor decision from the center ref we're seeing. Goes right off of his foot.
Yeah, you're right.
Goes
there.
out. Seems like a simple call. The sideline saw it. The referee saw it differently.
Frater is down right in front of Darren Powell. Meanwhile, Matt Cardoni will send it forward. Schmidt settles. Guzman. Making the run upfield here. Clipped across there by Estrada. Frater. The tackle there from Walter Restrepo. Meanwhile, here comes San Antonio on the counter, back the other way. Jack Barmby. Kai Green. And San Antonio with the build up here now. Restrepo. San Antonio just trying not to make any mistakes. As they make one right there, conceding possession. Frank Lopez had an opening momentarily to go for the attack. Here's Sandoval. Frater as it returns to Sandoval. And I guess really that's the big thing for SAFC with the level of world-class talent still on the pitches. Moore tries to whip this one in, defend it out. Manny Padilla goes down to the box, but waved off immediately by the referee. That's the thing for SAFC is they've got to be able to manage still, because the guys up top still have plenty of talent to get New Mexico back level in this game.
Yeah, and you just said it. You mentioned that they look like they're, afraid to make mistakes. You can't come out and play like that. That's exactly what happened last weekend, and look at the result. They just need to put the pedal to the metal and keep playing the way they played in the first half.
Frank Lopez! San Antonio gets that third one! Frank Lopez has his 5th goal with SAFC in 7 matches, and it's 3-0 in the 56th minute.
Danny gets a hold of this ball just like we talked about earlier. You can see on the replay. You can just see it coming with Lopez. He's putting himself in really good positions tonight. Again, he makes this run out wide, takes a nice first touch, lines it up, puts it on target, makes good things happen. And look, this is exactly what Darren Powell wanted to see from his team tonight. This is what should have happened last week. They've learned from it. They've come out, continued to press for that 3rd goal. And at this point, you have to think you're going to see a different result for San Antonio tonight. So props to them for doing this. And you can see Darren on the sideline yelling at the team to keep going, keep pushing. It's exactly what you want to see from your head coach. So well done to the team and the coaching staff for learning from this situation.
And almost Troy Lesesne at that point seems to concede here as he takes out his best striker, Kevon Frater, now for young Ryan Williams, rookie out of John Brown University, will come on now in a obviously much different game with a 3-0 line in favor of San Antonio FC here in the second half. But what a story. The acquisition of Frank Lopez now, 11 goals on the season, 5 of them in 7 matches for San Antonio FC since coming over from Galaxy 2.
Yeah, Frank's been tremendous, Dan. And the other thing is they're getting production from all over the field, right? They're getting production out of the center of the park. They're getting production from their strikers and their wingers. And that's something we haven't seen in a San Antonio squad for quite some time. It's really exciting to watch this team come together.
Moore goes over to take the corner here. 4th one coming up for New Mexico United. And Troy Lesesne seeing his club once again on the wrong end of a high score, which has been more commonplace in the second half of the season. This ball deflects and it'll end up being a goal kick, nearly ricocheted back into the San Antonio net there.
There's a good effort from New Mexico there. And if that goes in, again, it just changes the complexity of the half a little bit. So San Antonio, Cardone's doing a good job. He's going to slow the game down a little bit. Let's try to play it out, keep possession of it, play out cleanly, and get the ball into the attacking half of the pitch.
Talked about New Mexico, how their season has turned on its head a little bit, going from a record of 6-1-7 through the first 14 matches of the season to now 8 wins, 10 draws, 6 losses. So they've been 2 wins, 3 draws, 5 losses over the last 10 matches, and staring at now a 6th loss in this sequence. And it's been the opposite for San Antonio FC. They began the season through their first 16 matches, 4 wins against 8 losses and 4 draws. And if they can see the end of this result, is New Mexico on the attack. And it's defended out well there over on the far side by Abia Khan. If San Antonio can see this result through here over the final 30 minutes, they give them now 5 wins against 3 draws and only 1 loss now over their last 9 matches, Matt. That would be 18 points over their last 9 matches. Very, very productive there.
Yeah, it's incredible when you look at the span of the season and how much struggle they had in the beginning. They've really come on, and like I said, even last weekend when you have a little lump in the road, but they still got a point out of it.
Yeah, Suggs, Sandoval head on and just wide. And if there's been maybe one area where San Antonio FC will probably continue to have to address is the forwards there inside the box getting on the end of those services for headers, because that's where really the opponent has found a lot of success this year against SAFC.
They have, and that's one of the tricks about playing in a back three. If one of those back three gets drawn out of the box, it leaves you with two kind of defenders in the box, and you know, several teams have taken advantage of that.
Sandoval making the turn, the save by Cardoni. Estrada puts it there and just sent wide from Moore.
Hopefully we'll see the replay on this again. But, man, I've been really impressed with Cardoni tonight. He's just playing really, really clean in the box. Another nice save from him. And, again, he gets himself back up in position again in case they have a rebound. It's really good play from the goalkeeper tonight.
Meanwhile, San Antonio looking for a fourth. Restrepo gets forward and goes down. And there'll be a goal kick for Cody Mizell here. Restrepo with a word to the assistant over at the line. Through an hour of the match, SAFC in control, up 3 goals. Frank Lopez getting his 5th goal with SAFC in 7 matches in the 56th minute to open up the second half. That all-important 3rd goal for SAFC. After Pirano and Gomez got the scoring started in the first half. How about the night for Christian Pirano? 1 goal, 2 assists, as he's assisted on both Gomez and Frank Lopez's goals to go along with his opening strike earlier in the first half.
I'm just not sure this league knows what to do with this kid. He's just been such an incredible spark and a joy to watch all season, and he's really coming into his own.
Pirano, who played with San Martin in Argentina, but only appeared in 1 match with San Martin before he was served his release. And again, his story that we discussed a little bit last week, coming on trial to SAFC, winning a job. They were talking about Pirano in preseason. And so it's not as if it was necessarily, this has all been a revelation here over these last few weeks. His play certainly has dictated something very special, but Pirano was the talk of preseason all the way back in February and March. A wonder at how a player with this much talent, 1, had only been able to get onto the field 1 time for his Argentinian club, and 2, how really nobody else had ever heard of him in the soccer world.
Yeah, he showed up out of nowhere and definitely was the surprise of camp. But I think what the staff and what nobody really knew was, you know, how would this kid manage his first full season with 1 game under his belt?
Meanwhile, big collision here between Ebia Khan I couldn't see on the other side who that was for New Mexico, who was on the receiving end. It looked like a Khan got his studs up there, and that's Moar who went down. As you take a look at it again. Oh, looked like Khan got a boot up there in the midsection.
Yeah, he actually came in and looks like Akan really gets into this ball okay. Take another look at this. Yeah, he gets and pushes the ball away. Yeah, that's a good foul. No foul on Akan there. Just gets clipped pretty hard.
So Akan is up, Moar is up as well, and now they're going to rule possession, and San Antonio will get the ball.
And this is good work from the officials. They have a conference, they talk about it, and they get it right. So it's a good job from them.
Here's a look at tonight's Methodist Healthcare on the mend, and that's what we showed you at the top of the broadcast tonight. On the mend has been San Antonio FC changing their approach the second time they've seen the same opponent, and you see the results as SAFC is under a half hour away from picking up their 5th win over 8 matches, the second time they've seen a squad compared to a record of 4-8-5 through the first 17 matches this season and their first 17 opponents on the schedule. And one of those opponents who they did beat is the one they'll play next Friday night, and that's Tacoma Defiance. They won here 3-0 over Tacoma. And Defiance sitting last in the table. That being said, that is not an easy trip to go up to the Pacific Northwest, regardless of the opponent. And SAFC will have to be prepared for that. Meanwhile, here's Jack Barmby. Nice little return ball. Restrepo will make it 4! Walter Restrepo! That's brilliant! For the veteran Restrepo, and it's 4-0 SAFC here in the 66th minute.
Well, you see the New Mexico goalkeeper, Mizell, shaking his head, and that's really all you can do here. This is fantastic interchange on the top of the box. Barmby just lays a great ball in, and it's just finished off for the 4th goal tonight. Unreal ball right there by Barmby. Restrepo has a fantastic finish.
That's Walter Restrepo's first goal with SAFC. It's his 23rd goal all time in what is his 182nd match for the 14-year veteran from San Diego. Played at Deportivo Talina last year. His only 2nd goal in USL play. And San Antonio FC in cruise control right now. Up 4 goals on New Mexico United. And a foul on Juan Pablo Guzman will be shown yellow here in the 67th minute. Well, I tell you, taking 4 goals against one of the top teams for much of the season in the Western Conference, that's going to quickly erase the bad taste that was left in everybody's mouth leaving here last Saturday night.
Yeah, I'll say it again, Dan. I don't, you hear a lot of, criticism about last week's draw, but at the end of the day, this is exactly what you want to see from good leadership and good coaching. And Darren Powell and the staff have learned their lesson, and they said, hey, this is not going to happen again tonight. They clearly had a plan for it. They had a good vision for the game, and it's just nice to see him not making those same mistakes again, and this team's just not letting off the pedal tonight.
And they're still not done. SAFC has never in their history scored 5 goals in a USL League match. They've done 4 a couple of times. 4 goals for them is the first time this season. It's the 2nd time this season they've scored 4 goals. Perano inside the area will lose possession. Mizell will come up with it. They got 4 goals at Reno a couple of weeks ago. They also had 4 goals on the road against Seattle. It was their first ever game of the season back in 2016.
This team's definitely got the ability to rack them up and rack them up quick, and you're seeing some of that tonight. It's it's exciting to think about what they can do for the rest of the season as well.
So we'll see if they can get to 5 again, which they've never done in league play. That's a good guy to be on the end of that attempt, potentially. Lopez finds Perano. And New Mexico will come away with it. 20 minutes remaining. Troy Lesesne made his 2nd substitute, by the way, moments ago, putting in Austin Yearwood. And now Juan Pablo Guzman is down momentarily on the pitch. Enter for your chance to be an SAFC ball kid in a match this season, presented by Chick-fil-A. Includes 4 tickets to the match and Chick-fil-A for a year. To enter, go to sanantoniofc.com/ballkidsweeps. And the 3rd and final substitute getting ready to come on. Looks like the youngster Tommy Madden.
Yeah, and I got to say, too, I like what Troy Lessane's doing here. He's, conceded that they're going to have trouble winning this game, so I'm going to put some of my young players in and get them experience on the road. And I think that's, a sign of a smart coach. He's kept us calm and making decisions. He's still down there coaching and doing a good job. I don't think you can really take anything away from this season so far from New Mexico. It's such an incredible organization. I know a friend of mine, Ron Patel, who's the vice president of sales there, and I know Ron back from my PDL days, and he's just a fantastic human being, and I'm so happy that he's been part of this and this growth of soccer in the Albuquerque and New Mexico area. And I'd like to say hi to Ron and congratulate him for being part of such an incredible season and first season.
Sandoval, that's blocked. Volleyed along. Trying for the acrobatics there, both Moore and Sandoval, but unsuccessful. Well, this game changed after Salim Mohammed was sent off back in the 21st minute, as he was shown a red card after a corner. San Antonio up a man, and getting 2 goals right after that from Christian Pirano and Brian Gomez, and then adding to that in the second half with goals from Frank Lopez and Walter Restrepo, as they've equaled a season high with 4 goals tonight.
And if you're critical of New Mexico tonight, I think that's where it has to be. I thought they were on top of the game for the first 20 minutes. I thought they were playing better than San Antonio, and for a player to clearly say something that deserved a straight red is just a really poor decision on that player's part, and it's really affected his team tonight. And I thought that was the momentum changer in the evening.
Lopez making the run upfield. Justin Schmidt will head out. Here's Restrepo running on Suggs. Mo Hernandez. Mo Hernandez gives it a go. Good save. Outstretching by Cody Mizell. And for a New Mexico club who actually has played very well on the road this season, they were 4 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses in their 14 matches away from Isotopes Park. So playing on the road hasn't necessarily bothered them as an expansion side. Lopez looking for 2. That's over goal. But again, you're right. There has to be some accountability on the player in that situation. He's got to know better that on the road, especially, he can't do something to put his team at a disadvantage.
No, that's going to be a conversation between the staff and that player. They're not going to be happy about it. And even with your teammates, when you do things like that, you'll regret it. It lets everybody down. And like I said, I clearly feel like it affected the night tonight.
And Frank Lopez getting stretched out there. Looks like Billy Forbes is going to come on here momentarily. Well, San Antonio FC will, after tonight, play 6 of their final 9 matches on the road. They've got 2 coming up here over the next 2 weeks, week 26 and 27. They'll be in Tacoma next Friday night to take on Tacoma Defiance, and then they'll have their biggest challenge of the season the following Saturday as they'll go to the desert to take on Phoenix Rising, who, as we mentioned back in the first half last night, winning their 15th consecutive match, a USL Championship record. Who knows whether it'll be 16 in a row as San Antonio goes to Scottsdale on September the 7th. That will certainly be interesting. And then SAFC will get back home on September 14th to take on OKC Energy FC. And then right back on the road again for 2 more matches as they'll play 2 in a span of 5 days. They'll play at LA Galaxy 2 and at Tulsa. And in fact, they're actually going to play 3 matches over a span of 9 days, Matt, because then they're going to come home that Saturday to play Fresno FC. That's an arduous stretch right there when you think about 3 matches in 9 days in the month of September after you've already played 28 weeks of the season.
Yeah, that's a tough stretch. And my biggest question is San Antonio going to play them on Dollar Beer Night?
They are not.
Okay.
So we've got that one covered at least. Meanwhile, this is not a good development. The stretcher is coming out here now for Frank Lopez. What we thought was maybe simply he was cramping up, and now he's not going to be able, at least it appears to be able to walk it off under his own power.
Dan, as you know, a good friend of ours that worked here at San Antonio, Sam Dewar, is out in the desert now.
He is, yep.
With Phoenix. Like to say hi to Sam tonight. And Brett Johnson, one of the owners, a good friend. And, yeah, just want to congratulate those guys, and we're all looking forward to that game coming up.
And again, that'll be on Saturday night, September the 7th. And then after that match against Fresno here at home on September 28th, it's 2 more on the road at Las Vegas and at Portland Timbers, too, before the regular season and regular season home finale on October 19th against Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. So I think that's what really made tonight's match especially important for San Antonio when you think about 6 out of their final 9 on the road, and even one of those home matches coming at the tail end of 3 matches over 9 days. They really had to come away with 9 points tonight, or with 3 points tonight, as Frank Lopez is making his way off and applauds the crowd. And they've just about wrapped that one up in terms of getting the 3 points here this evening.
Yeah, and this was an especially important game tonight because if New Mexico wins, they go 6 points clear of San Antonio as well. So now these two teams will draw even in the standings wherever they fall. You know, what we've seen over the last couple weeks, it could be any number of positions. But, you know, look, San Antonio's right back in the mix, and it's, you know, if it ends up like this, it's going to be a fantastic 3 points for them.
And it would put SAFC over New Mexico because they'd have the wins tiebreaker, the San Antonio picking up their 9th win. Meanwhile, Restrepo on the ball back from Pirano, edge of the box here. Billy Forbes is on in Lopez's spot. Here's Barnby turning, trying to get it on his right foot. Instead, he'll return to Mo Hernandez. And Mo sails that one into section 115. Mo Hernandez coming back to join SAFC's starting 11 in the midfield there with Pekka. We talked about how Mo was so integral coming on loan from FC Dallas last year, playing in the center back position, and now in SAFC's new formation of a 3-back set, he has to go play holding midfield, which he's done before. But to have essentially another defender playing in that midfield spot is certainly been a key addition for SAFC here.
Yeah, I thought he was fantastic last week in the surprise start when Pekka got hurt in the warm-up. I thought he was very, very good. And, you know, you could have argued that he should have stayed on the field through the end of the match. But here he is again in the, you know, almost the 80th minute, and he's having another good game tonight.
Ryan Williams came on for Freighter after Lopez made it 3-0. Schmidt. Tete. Williams. Austin Yearwood. And New Mexico trying to spoil Matt Cardone's bid. It will be his 7th clean sheet of the season. Santia Moore sends it over goal. New Mexico, in case you're wondering, will head back home. And they have, we talked about SAFC finishing with 6 out of their last 9 on the road. How about New Mexico? They finished with 7 out of their last 9 matches at home at Isotopes Park in front of what we have said has been the best home field advantage in USL this season in terms of attendance. 7 of their last 9 coming up at Isotopes Park to close the season.
Yeah, that's got to be really exciting for that organization when you're getting, you know, an average of 12,500, 13,000 people a night. It's going to be hard to get points off of them in that last stretch of the season.
I'll start with Orange County next weekend, and then they'll actually play one of those 2 road matches the week after in Oklahoma City. So they'll play 6 out of their last 7 matches at home. Close it out against Las Vegas Lights on October 19th. And that last week, that last Saturday night of the regular season will be not only our focus on the match, but probably our focus on everybody else's match too. You got to believe that there'll be a lot at stake going into that final Saturday night of the regular season in terms of whether it's either making or not making the postseason for San Antonio FC or where they would fall. And again, 10 clubs in USL make the postseason this year in both conferences. Here's Restrepo from Pirano. Back to Mo Hernandez. That's it through here now for Jack Barmby. Billy Forbes puts one perfectly in for Pirano. Couldn't catch it cleanly. Restrepo tries to settle, dispossess. Barmby with it back. Hernandez plays off Yearwood and kept alive. Barmby. Billy Forbes. Hernandez the back touch and the interception from New Mexico. But again, 10 clubs making the postseason on both conferences in USL this year. There is a play-in match, a midweek match to be on the Wednesday to start the playoffs, where the 7 and 8 seeds would host a match against the 9 and 10 seeds, and then you got to turn around and, if you win, play that Saturday, so you don't have the advantage of a week off before preparation for that next match. So there is an advantage to finishing higher than 7th, getting a full week off, as opposed to facing a team that would have already played a match, would be playing their second match in 7 days. That being said, San Antonio will gladly take any spot, I'm sure.
Yeah, like we talked about last week, they would have taken any of those spots. And look, I think San Antonio is showing that they have some quality and some depth on the bench this year as well.
What a strike there from Pirano, looking to finish off what would have been a fantastic night. It's already been a great night. That would have been the cherry right there.
Here's the replay. You can see him set himself up. Just gets a crack on the ball. Good save from the goalkeeper. Looks like we have another sub. I saw Pekka call for a substitution just about a minute ago. So we'll see if that's the next move here.
And it will be Michael LaHood will come on for Pekka here in the final 8 minutes and whatever added time. So Pekka, it's not often he necessarily finds himself in the box score in terms of goals, assists, or shots, but there's so much he does in terms of managing the middle of the park for SAFC and the communication with the back line. And just his presence out there, I think, is just a calming presence for SAFC, particularly in the second half tonight.
Look, San Antonio, you know, I haven't seen the stats when Pekka plays versus when he doesn't, but he's the difference. They just do better when he's on the field.
Yearwood's shot was parried away there by Matt Cardoni. Schmidt will place it out wide. Moore. It's a good ball for Sandoval trying to get ahead on it, and Cardoni will pick up the volley. San Antonio FC will get back level at 509 wins, 9 losses, 7 draws, 34 points. New Mexico United will fall to 8 wins, 7 losses, 10 draws on the season. Both clubs sitting at 34 points, but because San Antonio has 1 more win than New Mexico in the table, you'll see SAFC above New Mexico United for the first time this season.
You know, Dan, another thing we were a little critical last week of was the substitution pattern for San Antonio. They made some subs on that back line that, you know, we thought was maybe a little questionable. So I like, again, what Darren Powell's doing tonight is he's leaving that back line intact with Mo Hernandez in the lineup, and I think it was the right call tonight. I think they probably talked about that during the week and you know, made the decision that if we get in this situation again, let's keep that back line, you know, steady Eddie. And you can even see what they're doing tonight with Mo Hernandez towards the last, you know, 20 minutes of the match. They've moved him in almost at a left back spot and shifted into a back 4 essentially.
In the updated table right now, again, with still some outstanding matches, as Sandoval The back touch from Moar out wide. Here's Suggs. Suggs puts it low. Yaro with a clearance out. The updated table has San Antonio FC sitting above the playoff line in 8th, with New Mexico in 9th and Sacramento in 7th in a three-way tie, each with 34 points. Sacramento has played one fewer game than both San Antonio FC and New Mexico United. Sandoval can't get on the end of that delivery, and SAFC takes over possession. But SAFC really can't rest on any laurels, because Portland Timbers 2, the last team out, or the first team out, I guess we should call it, has 32 points, and El Paso and Orange County have 32 and 31 respectively right behind them. So we've seen the table be very interchangeable over the last few weeks, and you got to believe that's a trend that's going to continue here over the final 9 weeks of the regular season.
Yeah, there's nothing about this season that doesn't lead me to believe that this last match of the regular season is going to determine a lot.
Billy Forbes running on Yearwood, edge of the box, flips it back, volleys it along, and Toronto was in the vicinity, but it's headed out. A challenge there from Mo Hernandez as he wins the ball away from Moar. And Suggs clear it out for a throw. As we are about to cross into the 87th minute, this game basically decided when Frank Lopez scored in the 56th minute. Walter Restrepo adding a fourth 10 minutes later to put it out of reach. And these teams will split their first ever season series. And after New Mexico won 3-0 at Isotopes Park back in early May, San Antonio FC not only returns the favor, but does them one better, getting 4 goals on the night against New Mexico United.
San Antonio is just trying to be smart with their possession now, keep the ball moving, and kill this game off.
Talked about their match coming up next Friday night in Tacoma. Tacoma sitting last in the Western Conference, 17 points. And when Tacoma was here earlier, we saw basically a roster of teenagers fielded. That is Seattle Sounders USL affiliate, and what Seattle has done very often with their USL club is Williams connecting here with Sandoval, and now Estrada with a back touch. They basically play those players coming out of the academy looking to gain professional experience. It's not necessarily about wins and losses for Tacoma when it comes to developing the players out of the Seattle Sounders Academy, but those players, as the season goes along, Matt, get steadily better and better because they learn the pro game and they learn how to manage the pro game. And so when San Antonio faced him all the way back in April, the game was similar to this, a blowout. I have a feeling it'll be a lot different story in Tacoma coming up next Friday night.
It's a tricky game, and that's a tough trip to make too. It's a long flight. You're going two time zones. And look, those kids aren't playing under a lot of pressure, and when they're good, they're good.
As Pirano gets taken down, and a set-piece free kick opportunity coming up for San Antonio, and just to illustrate Tacoma, who's played a little bit better as of late. They got a victory over Orange County at home 2-1 a couple weeks ago. And they got a 4-1 victory at home over Las Vegas Lights a couple weeks ago. So, as you pointed out, making that trip up there is almost part of the disadvantage San Antonio FC faces, in addition to being on the road.
That's right. And if the typical, Northwest, if they run into a little bit of weather, that could change things. And
another great save there from Cody Mizell, sent back across the face of goal. Barnby to that back post. Only Suggs is there, will loft it out. Well, chances San Antonio's had to get a 5th goal, which again, that has eluded them in 4 years of league play. They've never scored 5 in a match. They've had a couple of cracks at it here over the last few minutes.
out for the comeback, boys. They're looking menacing.
How about this note too, Matt? SAFC at their worst this season was at a -6 goal differential, assuming no more goals. They're going to be a +8 after tonight. That is a 14-goal turnaround from, I would say, probably within a 8 to 10 week stretch.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I was reading online this week a fan saying after last week they were going to, cancel their tickets, and I'm like, you're crazy, man. This team has come so far, and the growth that we're seeing firsthand, and they're playing exciting football. They're scoring exciting goals.
Parado, and there it is, 5 goals for San Antonio FC. Christian Parado has done it once again tonight. Christian Parado, 2 goals, 2 assists, and makes it 5-0 SAFC in the 90th minute.
And this kid is something special. I just love watching him play. Here's the replay. He's just got this magic little left foot, takes a soft touch inside, and just ropes it into the back of the net for a record-setting goal.
First time in their history, SAFC has scored 5 goals in a USL match, and should the line hold as it is, it would be the largest victory ever in SAFC history. Again, against a club in New Mexico United, who was one of the best teams in USL play in the first half of the regular season. You're not talking about a bottom dweller like Tacoma. You're talking about a team in the top 10 coming into tonight, 7th overall, and SAFC has put up 5 goals against New Mexico United.
I think you're just seeing 2 teams trending in the opposite direction right now. We talked a little bit about that last week, but San Antonio's trending up and New Mexico's trending down. And, San Antonio has just dismantled them tonight.
Oh, you see your man disappointed up there, Cody? Oh, Dad, I'm sorry.
This would be New Mexico's worst defeat in their inaugural season. They had actually scored 5 in a match earlier this year over Real Monarchs. But again, the silver lining for New Mexico United, as we mentioned before, they go home for 7 out of their final 9 matches. So don't expect them to go away very quietly here over the last couple months of the regular season.
We've been talking about it all night. It's a good organization and have the best support in the USL. This team will pick themselves up and get after it on Monday morning, and they'll be back with a vengeance. I have no doubt about that.
So in addition to San Antonio scoring 5 goals tonight, if the assists stay as they do for Christian Parado, which I believe they will, he would be the first player in SAFC history to not only record a brace, but also get 2 assists as well in a match. It's a pretty good night at the office. Parado now sitting on 7 goals and 3 assists on the season. And New Mexico trying to get one here at the death. And Moore unable to pull the trigger. That's off of Suggs. Collected and cleared, and that is how it will end at Toyota Field. The biggest victory in San Antonio FC history, 5-0 over New Mexico United at full time. Christian Parado, 2 goals, 2 assists. He continues to get better and better, if that's possible, every single week. And San Antonio moves back above the playoff line, sitting 8th in the table, even in points with New Mexico United at 34 apiece.
What a night for them. We talked about this last week. We wanted to see how they would bounce back, and just a tremendous showing from San Antonio, from the staff, the fans, and the players tonight. Congratulations.
Well, your club season continues next Saturday night. They'll take on Tacoma Defiance in Tacoma. Kickoffs at 9. Catch all the action on ESPN+. Now for Matt Barnes on Tiger Drum, Dan Weiss, thank you for joining us. Our final from Toyota Field. San Antonio FC 5, New Mexico United 0. This has been a presentation of the USL and Spurs Sports and Entertainment. So long, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.